This is a tarot love reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Leo, welcome to Alchemy Ascension. We're going to find out where you and your love interest are currently at in your connection, your thoughts and feelings about each other, what you each want from each other. We'll find out the strength in the connection, the challenge in your connection, and the most likely outcome in the near future. Let's see what's happening in your love life. Okay, so this is an interesting spread. This is going to resonate for somebody who's currently in separation from their love interest. You're coming out on the right side, Leo. I set this right side for your energy, and this is your love interest on the left. And the central line here is the mutual energy. So we'll go ahead and start out over here with your energy, Leos. We have you coming up currently in the Nine of Pentacles energy. This is a single energy, but this is an energy of somebody who is really thriving on their own. The Nine of Pentacles is a person, man or woman, but this is somebody who is very independent, thriving financially. This is someone who loves themselves, takes care of themselves, someone that has a lot of suitors. They're very selective with who they share their life with. They're waiting for somebody that they can reach their Ten of Pentacles with. This is telling me, Leos, that you're in a place where you're feeling very self-actualized, ready to meet somebody who can offer you your Ten of Pentacles, somebody that you can build a long-lasting future with. Somebody who has done a lot of self-development as well, and somebody that you feel is your equal on your level. They're not going to settle just to have those basic needs fulfilled, like getting their bills paid or things of that nature, because they already have all of that. So you're in a really good place right now, Leos. You're feeling very self-empowered. This is a very natural energy for Leos to be in. Leos are very independent, self-empowered type of individuals by nature, so you're definitely standing in your power right now, Leos. Now, where your love interest is currently at, they're coming up in the Eight of Swords energy, which was really interesting when I looked into the clarifying cards. So the Eight of Swords is someone who is really stuck in their head. This is a person that's very burdened mentally. They're going through a very intense phase of mental anguish. They're feeling trapped in a situation for one reason or another, and that's what's represented in the swords that are surrounding them and the ropes that have her bound. Your love interest feels stuck in a situation. They feel that they can't move forward. It's just an illusion, though. As always with this card, that's the message there, that this person can always remove themselves from the situation. It's all stress that they could overcome if they would just gather that level of self-confidence needed to just move forward. But they're not there yet, and that was clarified. This is actually where it gets really interesting. It was clarified by the Magician, the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Tower. So I had to dive deep on this one, because when I first got the Magician and the Hermit, I thought, wow, this is so strange. I had, with some of the other cards coming out in the spread, that fairly negative energy that turned up. I felt one or two things. Either your love interest feels as if someone's put a spell on them, or your love interest, I felt more that they actually are trying to do spell work on you, Leos. So I feel like it's one of those two scenarios, because these were the first two cards that clarified it. It was the Magician and the Hermit. And what's so interesting about the imagery is that the Hermit is generally depicted as the man holding the lantern, and he's wearing that sort of cape with a hood, a hooded cape. But this one has an indigenous woman, and she's doing some type of a ritual under the stars at night, and there's this kind of a magical element to it, if you can see. Do you see it kind of hints at this magic that this woman is trying to conjure up, essentially. And you see with the Magician, I don't know, I get a bad vibe. When I see the Magician card here, if you can see the look on his face, I don't get a positive vibe from that at all. So that really changed how I felt initially about the Eight of Swords. It's a big leap to take, but it's something to just be cautious about. When you know how to handle these things, you know, when we're talking about black magic and people trying to do spell work against you, you'll come to understand that your mind is stronger than all of that. You know, nobody can succeed in doing these things against you unless you allow it, unless you're mentally susceptible to that. So just be mindful just in case. I'm not saying that that's definitely what happened, but this is a very strange combination of cards with this person being bound. If you're dealing with someone who believes in these type of things, something to be cautious of it. This person may be their intentions is to get you in a state like this, to have you bound to them with these two cards clarifying it. It's really hard not to see that and it could be as simple as, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be that dark and sinister. It could be as simple as them just trying to manifest you back in their life. But I don't like the look on this Magician's face. He does look very sinister. And if I'm being completely honest, there are other red flag cards on the spread, you know, so be cautious, Leos, of who you're dealing with. The other two cards that came out clarifying that is the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower card. So what's interesting here is that what we got from what your person, what they want from you, Leos, we got the Tower card, which is obviously a very strange card to have from, you know, what they want from you. But when it's in a placement like that, what it means is that, well, again, one or two meanings, rather extreme differences. So really take this as it resonates based on the type of person you're dealing with. If you're dealing with somebody in a really low vibe, then, you know, definitely take the extreme caution that this could mean that your person, again, is trying to do some negative type of spell work on you, because this is what they want from you. In a Tower moment, it's generally perceived as a very negative, shocking event that really rocks the foundation of your life. On some occasions, yes, it can be in a positive way, but it's generally not a welcomed experience. So I feel, you know, that it's just, I feel that I would be remiss if I didn't caution you with the other low vibe cards that have come out in this table. Hopefully it doesn't apply to you, but if you are dealing with somebody that's giving you a very low vibe, just be careful, because this and the placement of what they want for you combined with these cards could definitely speak of ill intention. Now, the other possibility that would be much less sinister, and hopefully this is what resonates with most of you, is that your person is wanting to avoid a Tower moment with you. And that could very easily be the case, because the Tower card was clarified by you, Leos, by the Strength card. So, again, that could apply either way. For those of you dealing with somebody really malevolent, dark, sinister, low vibe, Again, it could be them wishing this on you, trying to do spell work on you. Just know that if that's the case and that resonates with you, your mind is stronger than any spell work anyone can conjure up. You can always take all the energy that they're sending you and use it for your own ascension. Just don't lose sight of that. I don't think you are, because this is where you're at. I mean, you're basically untouchable here. You are on a vibration that is so high above these low vibrations that they're possibly sending you away that you truly have nothing at all to worry about. But I do want to point this out just in case. So, again, moving back to the less sinister possibility, it could also be that your person's trying to avoid a tower moment with you because they are intimidated by you. They recognize that you are entirely self-empowered, vibrating at a level that's just so far above anything that was going on with them, that they know that if they come at you with any kind of drama or anything that's unworthy of your time, that it could cause a tower moment. So I think that's going to be what resonates for most of you, is that your person is just really wanting to avoid your wrath, essentially, because look at the strength card in this. This is the Tarot Apocalypsis. I love this deck, but this is a pretty fierce depiction of the strength card. Probably the most fierce depiction of the strength card that I've ever seen. Generally, it's a much more docile image where it always has the Empress and she's taming the lion. It's a very peaceful, gentle type of image, but this is completely different. So that speaks volumes to me. You can even see, look at the character at the bottom there. He's just utterly terrified at this phenomenal goddess on the tiger that's coming at him. Yeah, he's not wanting to deal with that. So I really think that that's more than likely what the case is. So that takes us back to these cards clarifying where they're at, which was the Eight of Swords. I really feel that that's where that ties in. So that's what's so interesting about it, is because the Wheel of Fortune is turning, so they are doing their best to avoid that tower moment. But a tower moment cannot be avoided. That's one of the messages with the Tower card. Tower moments, the most you can do is delay them. You're delaying the inevitable. But they have to come down because it speaks of a situation that has fault lines. It's going to crack, it's going to crumble. Something that was built on an unstable foundation. You know, whatever that means between you and your love interest. I get the impression that it was like a situation where it was one lie after one betrayal, just a lot of trickery. I get that feeling is what was going on, particularly with that Magician card, which can speak of trickery and lies. Yeah, in this setting, I mean, I generally wouldn't have read the Magician that way, but with the Five of Swords coming up and the Tower, and just the way that the Magician's depicted here, you know, I think that things got way out of hand between you and your love interest, and it was all going to come crashing down. It had to, one way or the other. And so with this wheel turning now, what's happening is that your person is already experiencing what they've been trying so hard to avoid. This is the Wheel of Destiny, the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of Karma. And it can turn and bring good tidings to your life, or it can turn the other way and bring misfortune. And as many believe, it's often based on the karma you have coming. So, very possible that this is the state that your person's life is in right now. The tower is burning, crumbling, and it's just completely coming down there. But look what's so interesting about this Tower card. Look how different it is from the traditional Rider-Waite. I think it's so interesting how this whole set of cards here, clarifying where they're at, you notice how this is like, let's see, 1, 2. This is the third one that references spell work, magic. You see, this is a shaman, and he's trying to work with some type of sorcery. But this tower is just crumbling down on top of him. It's burning to the ground. That is so interesting. I have to say, Leos, I really think that your person is they're trying to toy with magic in one way or another. Whether it's as simple as trying to use the law of attraction to manipulate you back into their life, or something malicious like trying to use spell work to bring you down in a tower moment. So a tower coming down on them is exactly what can happen when you don't know what you're doing or who you're messing with. And more importantly, it's what happens when you operate with bad intentions. Sooner or later, it'll all come back down on you threefold in a tower moment. Whatever they're doing is failing miserably if they're aiming it at you, because you are completely thriving. You know, you're in a great place, so just keep that frame of mind, stay self-empowered, and remember to harness all the energy that anyone sends your way and use it for your ascension. That's what I do. Whether it's negative, positive, it doesn't matter. It's all energy that you can use. So, okay, as far as how your person sees you, the Queen of Wands. So they see you as exactly who you truly are, which means they understand where you're currently at with the Nine of Pentacles card. They're fully aware that you're standing in your power and that you know your true value. The Queen of Wands, whether you're a man or a woman, is very driven, assertive, and ambitious. She's an inspiring and adventurous spirit that often relies on instinct. She's very fiery, passionate, and creative, often an entrepreneur or a business owner of some kind. But this is a queen intent on manifesting her visions, whatever they may be. She's the embodiment of alchemy, ruled by both the fire of her element and the water of her court position. She's courageous, determined, and resilient, with that intensity of the fire burning in her soul. Yet she's also kind, sensitive, and compassionate because the water tempers her fire. So she is true strength. And she's known as the Witch of the Tarot because she is magic. So Leos, they're seeing you as you, the Queen of Wands, and they likely failed to see that before. But they know the truth, that you're strong and authentic, that you're truly content with where you're at in life, and that you're completely focused on manifesting your dreams. And maybe that intimidates them or upsets them, because for some reason this person seems to be focused on trying to bring you down from this beautiful place that you're at in life. So, crosswatchers, some words of caution to keep in mind. It's this queen that's got the magic stick, and she's not afraid to use it. I'm kidding, you know that energy can go both ways, obviously, so if you're feeling that it's your Leo that's casting some black magic on you, that's put a spell on you, then take it as it resonates. It's important to note too, I don't want to just focus on the negative aspects of this spread, but for this to come up as their thoughts and feelings about you, it could also indicate, you know, that they feel a strong desire and attraction towards you. It speaks of feeling a passionate desire for someone, so it's possible that that could be referenced here as well with how they feel about you. But what is certain is that they are seeing you standing in your power. That is for sure. Now, this is what you think and feel about them. You're seeing them as the Ten of Pentacles. And so at first I thought that was a little bit strange because, it doesn't really go with these other cards here. The Ten of Pentacles is a very positive card, but then it made sense to me when I clarified it. It was clarified by the Four of Wands and the Nine of Wands. So it really confirmed my suspicion that you are seeing them as somebody who is in a long-term commitment currently. So that may have been one of the issues that you had that brought about this ending between you and your love interest, Leos. So you're seeing them as still being in this committed relationship here with the Ten of Pentacles. And that was, to me, further confirmed by the Four of Wands. Now, the Four of Wands doesn't have to speak about being in a commitment. This is a card that's truly about having stability, but it generally revolves around the home life and feeling stability and happiness at home, celebrations at home, things of that nature. But since this is a love reading, I often read this as a card of commitment as well, because most people kind of have that vision when they think of being happy and stable at home. They think of, having that in a committed relationship and sharing that with another person. So I generally see this card that way, but it doesn't have to be. Coupled with the Ten of Pentacles, I definitely see it that way. And with the Nine of Wands, this speaks of a person that is fighting for something, essentially. This is somebody you can't see here because this image is different than the traditional Rider-Waite, but the traditional image shows a warrior who's wounded, and he looks very fearful because, he can't really afford to be wounded again. So, but, the message is always that, he's holding on to one last wand that symbolizes that he has one more fight left in him. So it's that desire to continue fighting for something that you're passionate about, and the ability to do that. You're going to keep fighting one more time for something that you're passionate about, regardless of how much each of these separate battles has wounded you. So it gave me the feeling that you're aware that they're still fighting to make that relationship work, essentially. So, they're not giving up, that even though they may have been through some difficult times with whoever they're involved with, they're not letting go or giving up. I think it's really interesting, too, how this Nine of Wands has somebody clinging onto them, like down on the ground, kind of like begging them not to go. That's so odd for the Nine of Wands. That's entirely different than the traditional Rider-Waite image. So there may be something there. It could be, Leos, that you're involved with somebody that is not only in a committed relationship, but they may have children with the person they're involved with. It may be that they feel a sense of responsibility to continue fighting for that commitment, that relationship, marriage, whatever it is, because they feel that sense of responsibility for their children. They don't want to, ruin their family life, their upbringing. That's really interesting. It could even be that that's the person they're involved with. Maybe they're involved with a very codependent lover, the person that they're in a committed relationship with. Either way, though, that really jumped out at me because you don't see that. I've never seen that in a Nine of Wands card before. Very interesting. So that's what we have for your thoughts and feelings about your love interest. Now moving into the mutual energies here. We'll start with, or actually, yeah, we have another strange placement of this card here. This is what came up for what you want from your love interest, Leos, which is the Five of Swords. You know, that's when I really realized that you're very likely dealing with, I can't even say very likely, you're definitely dealing with somebody who's on a very low vibration, whether they're doing these more sinister, malevolent things or not. This is a reading for somebody who's dealing with somebody that's in a really low vibration with the Five of Swords. Because what you're wanting here is to just walk away from all of that. The message with the Five of Swords is always to know how to pick your battles. What's more important to you, winning or your peace of mind? It's a very important message to consider when this card shows up in your reading. The story with the Five of Swords is always the same. It's always someone, this character here, is usually a narcissist or somebody that's displaying narcissistic tendencies. This, along with the Seven of Swords, are the two lowest vibe cards in the deck, aside from the Devil card. The story here is always know when to pick your battles. It's a person that knows, though, like you realize that. That's why you're walking away. Like both of these people have given up on the fight and they walked away. But this person, he feels victorious because he's operating from ego. He has no sense. He's operating from a level of consciousness that's so far beneath emotionally and mentally healthy individuals that his perception is entirely distorted. He doesn't realize that these people have just given up and walked away because, they don't want to roll around in the mud with him. Like, they're not willing to do things as low as this character is willing to do, whether it's a man or a woman. So they're cutting their losses and just realizing that their life and their time is more valuable than some ego validation or empty victory. And that's the point of the Five of Swords. It's always an empty victory. But this guy who feels at the end of this battle when he watches them, he always has that smirk, like just his ego's all inflated. He feels victorious because they gave up, and he thinks it's because he's outsmarted them and they can't match wits with him. But later, this card always leads to this character ending up in one or two energies. Either it leads to them ending up in the Five of Cups because they realize it was an empty victory. The Five of Swords is always somebody who cuts off his nose to spite his face. He sabotages himself just to feel that ego victory. He'll go, there's no low that somebody in this energy won't stoop to. And that's why these people walk away. They have no interest in lowering their vibration that low. So he either ends up in that remorseful, regretful energy once he realizes that he cut his own nose off for that empty victory, or he ends up in the justice energy, where karma is served. That's the story with this. And what's important to remember, Leos, if you're dealing with someone in this energy, somebody in this energy will go out of their way. They're obsessed with winning. And so they're going to try to figure out what's going to trigger you. They're going to go out of their way to try to trigger you, essentially. The important message is to understand that this person is not living an authentic life. They may be, this person is living to try to trigger you, to try to figure out whatever it is that you want so they can go and do the opposite, or whatever it is that you're expecting so they can do the opposite. Whatever they think is going to hurt you, they're going to do that, And it's so important. I always feel that this card isn't emphasized enough in tarot readings. The message is to stay in your power, because if you let this person trigger you, if you don't see through their manipulation, if you don't see through their mind games, this is all, mind games, ego, it's all ego driven. If you don't see through it, they're going to take you out of your wonderful vibe here. You're going to be giving your power to them, and you can't do that. I mean, you shouldn't do that, I'll say, because, that's giving your power away. If you recognize the simple fact that whatever it is that they're doing to try to trigger you, trying to flash in your face, always remember, a person that is truly happy doesn't live to spite other people, They don't live for show. They don't live to be #happy. You know what I mean? They're living authentically, for their own true happiness. So, stay in your power. Don't let this person trigger you. Don't hand your power over to somebody like this. And I'm so happy to see that you're not, because that's exactly what this card means. In this placement, this is what you want from them. It's saying that what you want is to walk away from that low vibe, negative energy that's so far beneath you. You want nothing to do with it. And so if you haven't already, you are walking away from that. So that's really amazing to see. It's beautiful. And that was clarified by the Four of Cups, which just further confirmed what I was saying. You are entirely disenchanted, disinterested, bored with the whole scenario. So you see the expression on this woman's face? She's just like looking down. It's almost like she's looking at those cups, and it's like, I don't know, I get the feeling where she's just kind of like, my God, I used to think those were full of love, like they're full of crap, And she looks disgusted almost. It's like she's not having it. She's not interested anymore. She's walking away from any type of mind games, maliciousness, drama. She's not having any drama. So, with that said, let's move on to the mutual energies. This takes a major swing in the other direction. What we had come up, Leos, for the mutual unifying bond that draws the two of you together, the strength in this connection is very shocking, actually. It's the Two of Cups. So somehow, amidst all that horrible negative energy, the two of you have true love for each other, and it's mutual, deep, profound love. And this is one of the soulmate cards. So the two of you have a very deep love for each other, and it's, I don't know what to say with all this negative energy. That's the opposite of love, but sometimes when somebody is still battling with their shadow side, it can manifest in even the most beautiful soul connections and just destroy a love that could have been so beautiful, which is really tragic. So, this person is clearly still battling their inner demons, and you seem to be well along your path of ascension, operating from a much higher level of consciousness and vibration. So although there's a deep mutual love and your souls are likely bonded, you're choosing to love yourself first and foremost, and you're remaining entirely detached because you know they're choosing to remain in their shadow side, consumed by toxic insecurities, that they're ruled by their ego, and most importantly, that they're intent on hurting you. And what we had come up here for the challenge in your connection is the World card. So the World card is, of course, pointing towards the fact that, the challenge is that it's over. You've gotten all the lessons that you need from this experience you had with this person. That cycle is complete. But what's interesting is that that's coming up as a challenge, so apparently you two have an issue with the fact that it's over. The World card was clarified by the Eight of Wands, the Princess of Pentacles, and the Three of Swords. So I wanted to know more, of course, about why is it an issue that it's over? I mean, aside from the obvious that the two of you really love each other, but this is what came up. So the Eight of Wands is a card that speaks about fast movement. It's a rapid sequence of events taking place, but more than anything, it's a lot of back and forth communication, passionate communication. And in this position, as part of the conflict and the central issue, what that's telling me is that one of the issues is that there is no communication going on. And, this further reinforces that message with the Princess of Pentacles. That is the Page of Pentacles in the Tarot Apocalypsis. So that is telling me, along with the Three of Swords that came up, that Leos, you've gone through a very painful heartache, betrayal, and you're still feeling your heart bleeding from that betrayal that you experienced, which was most likely a third-party situation that this person put you in with the Three of Swords here. And with that coming up as part of the challenge, with the Princess of Pentacles, the Eight of Wands, and the World card, that's telling me that one of the issues is that, this person has never taken accountability for what they've done to you. They never came to you with a sincere apology and open, clear communication. You see, the Eight of Wands is shooting right through the sunlight. It's talking about bringing clarity to a situation, piercing right through any illusions. The Page of Pentacles can be a very sincere offer. It speaks of a lack of that, and that's one of the issues. This person never gave you a sincere apology for the intense pain that they put you through, this betrayal here. And they likely never told you the truth, with this coming up as the issue as well. So everything's revolving around this central issue here in regards to your connection. Now, what we had come up as the most likely outcome is, I'm sad to say, Leos, it's not that great. We had the Seven of Swords, the Knight of Swords and the Two of Wands come up. So, this speaks of somebody who's strategizing and planning. They're planning how to go about doing something that they have their minds set on, and figuring out what path they want to take to achieve their objective. And this is a much less strategic card. This is somebody that's coming in, and I don't know if it's the same person. I don't know if this is, take it how it resonates. It could be Leos, that your love interest is in this energy. It could be you guys in this energy. But somebody, and it could be each of you individually, like, Leos, this could be, I kind of get the impression, honestly, that that's the situation maybe, that it's each of you in one of these energies, because these two cards fell out in the main spread and then these clarified it. So it could be that it's the same person or not, but the point is that somebody is going to come rushing in, and that may be what they're strategizing but this is not a strategic card, so I tend to think that these are each of you individually. And this is somebody that has a lot to say, you know, they're rushing in with communication. Sometimes that communication can be rough and cutting, and it could be somebody wanting to bring truth to the situation. But this can also speak of somebody who's upset and angry. Now, what was interesting that came out clarifying it, and here's where, you know, it kind of took another dip downwards, is that it came out clarified by the Devil card. But the Devil card fell out sideways. So, I get the impression that maybe this person is going to come in and give kind of like a half-assed attempt, like a half-truth kind of scenario, you know? Is like their attempt, you know, to maybe bring some sort of clarity. But what I don't like about this Devil card at all, and here's where I have to caution you again, generally the traditional Rider-Waite image, you know, shows the devil and he has two people bound to him in chains. It's, you know, a man and a woman. But in this image, he has, it's like a whole orgy going on, in a sense. It's a bunch of women that are kind of there bound to him, and they're in this kind of, you know, hedonistic setting. And so in a spread like this, although it came out sideways, it immediately gave me the impression that your person is still involved with others, you know? And, you know, even though it's showing women in this image, it could be, you know, other men. That's very possible. But they have some sort of toxicity going on in their life. So I would have felt better if it would have, you know, came out upside down, but it didn't. So of course I had to get clarification on that. And what we had clarifying the devil was the Queen of Swords. So this is most likely the other woman or man. It could be either or. But it's very likely that Leo's your person is still in this committed relationship with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone in that energy. And it could even be that your love interest is an air sign, but I was clarifying the Devil card and asking who or what your person's attachment is to with the Devil card, and the Queen of Swords card came out. So, you know, whether your person comes rushing in or not, just keep your eyes wide open. What's interesting too is the way this Queen of Swords is depicted. You see how in her left hand she has the Sword of Truth, but in her right hand she has some kind of like a loom with spider webs. So she's like weaving these webs, and I just can't help but see that as spinning like webs of deceit, as they say, you know, like a web of lies. You know, so whether that's your person that has their person caught up in a web of lies, or vice versa, I thought that was really interesting to see that in the image. Interesting though, all in all. So yeah, that's what I have for you in the tarot. I wish I could have given you better messages. Trust me, I'm a Leo too, so I would have liked to see some more Cups energy in here, but maybe next week. I'm going to go ahead though and get one more message for you from the Wisdom of the House of the Night Oracle deck, and we'll see if we can get any positive messages coming out here. Words of wisdom, guidance, advice. One more message for Leos. So, the oracle card that we have for you, Leo, is called Conclusion. Very interesting, because that is exactly what's at the center of your spread. I'm going to go ahead though and read from this book and see what it says about your oracle card. This is the time of endings and new beginnings. Drawing this symbol indicates that you have come to the end of some experience in your life and are about to enter a new one. Don't resist the conclusion, for endings are important experiences and will help you build a stronger foundation for your next adventure. This is also a warning to get all the facts before you draw a conclusion about someone. You can't know the whole story if you haven't read to the end. Remain open even when an ending is final or a conclusion is correct. This is a sign that a new story is about to unfold. Wow. That is so interesting. I just think it's remarkable how perfectly that ties in, because, you know, if I didn't mention as I was reading the World card, although it indicates the end of a cycle, it always, of course, is just the beginning of a new cycle. It equally represents the beginning of a new cycle. And that's exactly what this oracle card is talking about. And what's even more interesting is that, let's see, it says, yeah, that kind of blows my mind. It's talking about, so it says, don't resist this conclusion. So, and this could resonate with you too, cross-watchers. You know, if you're cross-watching, this could go for both of you. It's saying not to resist this, and that's exactly what's happening here. This person is resisting this ending, this tower moment. But it's, again, it's inevitable, and it's, wow, it's like I'm almost getting chills now. This just blows my mind. Because that's exactly what had to happen. It's what I was saying. It's the foundation was never going to stand the test of time. This tower that was built on this web of deceit, these lies, these betrayals, the illusions, it was never going to hold up. There's no avoiding this tower coming down. And it's coming down. And, but the beautiful thing that the universe wants you to know, Leos and cross-watchers, you know, whichever side you resonate with. And I'm sorry, cross-watchers, I didn't mean to make you feel attacked, but I have to read the cards as they come out, you know. So this is indicating that there's going to be a beautiful new beginning. Once this tower falls down, don't fear this tower, don't fear this ending, because there's a beautiful new future in store for you, Leos and cross-watchers. I mean, whether it's together or separately, don't fear it. There's nothing but positivity ahead. See it as the chance to build something beautiful on a new foundation that will endure. And it's interesting that it even gave reference to not drawing conclusions about someone. You know, there was a lot of negativity showing up in these cards that was looking pretty sinister. So, you know, maybe this is the universe saying, keep an open mind, just like it says here in this book. Maybe it's not what you think in entirety. I mean, this is, there's no two ways about the Five of Swords energy. If they have you in that energy, that's, you know, that's the lowest vibe of all, but there may be more to the story, Leo, so the universe is calling for you to keep an open mind. Do not fear the end. It's only the beginning. A beautiful new beginning. So, those are all the messages that I have for you in this reading, and I hope that they gave you some clarity. But until next time, thank you so much for your support.